Hello and welcome back. Hope you are good, doing well. So this is going to be the BTC analysis. But before going to look at that chart, if anyone want to join us looking for membership, just simply go to wave-share.com and looking for membership levels. Just check there, and if you want further information, just simply fill that form and send that form to me for further information. All right, now let's look at the previous Bitcoin video analysis quickly. All right, so but before going to look at the current one, make sure you watch this one, all right, and then watch this one, all right, so that you can understand that what we were expecting and what has happened over there on Bitcoin and what can happen in coming weeks to months. All right, so I'm gonna look at the Bitcoin chart. All right, so that was the longer term analysis, and in the previous video analysis, we were expecting Bitcoin to repeat the similar formation, the formation which we have seen over there, if you remember that. Okay, in the previous video analysis, we were expecting Bitcoin to break out that wedge. All right, that wedge broken out, and price was rising at that time. Okay, so it is doing exactly similarly again. So I'm gonna open clean chart so that we can understand that on a clean chart. All right, and we'll look at the Bitcoin on clean chart. Okay, so weekly chart and weekly chart here. So there we can see there is the current price, okay, and there we can see the past. Yes, in the previous video analysis, I have pointed it out that the drop was slowing. All right, the drop was slowing down, very much similar like 2019. Okay, and price is just simply setting up for a breakout. Right, on lower time frame we have seen there, and on lower time frame there. So what caused that drop to slow down in 2019? That is the question. Okay, there in 2019, what was the reason that the drop stopped pushing? I mean, the bearish wave stopped dragging lower, and what has caused again Bitcoin to slow down here? All right, so I'm gonna bring the Bitcoin chart, the current. Okay, so this chart, so that's the wedge. Okay, so the wedge is found its floor over there at this area at 16k, and trying and broken out for upside, we can simply say that. Okay, and on lower time frame from 16,000 it was setting up for a breakout on all these updates. We can see over there we were expecting it to break out and continue to keep rising for upside from these updates. Okay, so the question which we need to ask first, what has caused the Bitcoin to slow down there and then continue its trend for upside? And again, similarly, what has caused Bitcoin to slow down again and break out for upside? Okay, so the answer of that is very much simple, and the answer is that the hiking cycle which we are having right now from the Fed is peaking. Okay, in 2019 the Fed hiking cycle peaked. Okay, Fed stopped hiking interest rate in 2019, and then we have seen another rally for upside. Okay, so similarly Fed hiking cycle is peaking out over there, which, you know, Fed hiking cycle has driven that aggressive move to the downside. Okay, similarly, Fed hiking cycle has driven that bearish wave. And in 2019, Fed stopped raising the interest rate, and we have seen another leg higher. Okay, similarly, it is setting up for another leg higher. All right, so right now I'm not anticipating Bitcoin to just break out at this previous high. Okay, I'm anticipating Bitcoin to just give us a similar kind of wave over there for, you know, next couple of months. All right. Okay, so for that whole aggressive leg, we need some, you know, reasons. Okay, that was inflationary environment which caused that wave. So we are not in the inflationary environment right now. We are in a disinflationary environment which has caused that drop to happen. Okay, so if I'm gonna look at the yield curve, okay, so there we can see that in 2019, that's the 210 yield curve. So in 2019, it has bottomed, and then the short end yields started to fall very, very aggressively, which caused that run for upside on the Bitcoin. Okay, so again, we are having deep inversion on the 210, and 2-year yield is setting up for a drop, which is going to cause that to rise very, very aggressively. Okay, so if I'm going to look at this is where you're going to understand that clearly. This is 2-year yield. Okay, so if I'm going to pull out Fed funds rate on it, okay, so right now Fed fund rate is at 450. Okay, so we can see that the Fed fund rate is at 450 right now. Okay, so the Fed fund rate is not updated. So the Fed fund rate is at 450, and US 2-year yield is at 423 right now. Okay, so which means that the 2-year yield is simply pricing in for a rate cut rather than rate hike. All right, so 2-year yield is pricing in for a rate cut. So what happened in 2019, okay, which caused the Bitcoin to continue its bullish lag? There we can see that. Okay, so the hiking cycle ended over there. All right, so Fed fund rate stopped pushing higher, or you know, Fed fund rate stopped. Okay, so 2-year yield started to fall below the Fed fund rates. Okay, that's what is happening right now over there. Fed fund rate is at 450. Okay, and 2-year yield is below Fed fund rate. Okay, so it is at 223 right now. Okay, so it's simply pricing in for another 25 basis cut. Okay, so this is a signal that the Bitcoin has bottomed out. So we may not see more hikes from the Fed. Okay, and 2-year yield is simply setting up for a drop. Okay, that's what we have seen in 2019, which caused the Bitcoin to extend the next bullish leg for upside. So this is telling us that the hiking cycle from the Fed is about to end. All right, so it's about to over. Okay, so that's the reason Bitcoin is, you know, setting up. Bitcoin is breaking out on that wedge, is breaking out or setting up for a, you know, bottoming out. Okay, so wedge is very much similar like the previous 2019. So if you're gonna look at the previous videos, okay, so these two videos, you're gonna understand that. So I have made comparison over there, you know, in this video analysis. Okay, so you're gonna understand that in detail. So wedge is breaking out, what we can expect. Okay, so there we need to understand, there we need to keep one more point in mind. Is there another leg possible which can put the Bitcoin again back to the bottom at 15,000? Yes, absolutely. We still may see another leg lower back at the 15,000 you know, floor before we are going to see another leg higher. So the only reason for that is the inflation is still above the Fed fund rates and still above the 2-year yield. Okay, so we have seen that back in 1980. All right, so we haven't seen that kind of you know, environment in since 2000, but we have seen that 2000. All right, so there we can see that. So in 2000, since 2000, whenever 2-year yields drop below Fed fund rates, Fed went after for a rate cut. Okay, there we can see Fed started to cut the rates. But back in 1980, okay, so we don't have that data over there. At that time, inflation was high. Okay, so inflation right now is at 650. Inflation is still above the yield and the Fed fund rates. So if we are going to see repricing again, okay, if yields are going to reprice, right, then there is that is the exception, that the yields aggressively going to go above the Fed fund rates and going to catch up the inflation. That's the only exception. But that is not going to happen. The reason is that the inflation is falling very, very aggressively to the downside, and hopefully in next couple of months we're going to see inflation significantly below the Fed fund rate and below the 2-year yields. Okay, that's the reason many people are expecting that the hiking cycle is peaked out and rates are going to fall, and the assets which were under pressure just because of the Fed hiking cycle, now they are bottoming, and we are going to see some relief on risk on assets. Okay, so hope that makes sense. You got the idea. Okay, so if, as I said, if we are going to see repricing, okay, then we still can see another leg lower. Bitcoin still can tag that low and can continue to keep pushing more higher. So in my opinion, I don't think so that the Bitcoin is going to visit that previous low again. All right, I see that it has bottomed out over there, and yes, deeper correction is possible like that. Okay, if that happens, then you're simply looking for a breakout and continuation for more upside. All right, so if I'm gonna look at the lower time frame, all right, so where we can see that okay, so the Bitcoin chart, I mean, bottomed over there. So if I'm gonna look at the this chart, so it has broken out and going for this first target for 25, as I have explained that in the previous video analysis. All right, so the first target going to be 25, and if it keeps pushing higher very, very aggressively, then you are looking for it to go up to 30, 35 areas. Okay, but before before you are looking to buy Bitcoin for longer term, just make sure you understand that there is still a possibility for double bottom, okay, double bottom, or a slower corrective move. So if I'm gonna open the past chart, all right, so that you can get the idea that what kind of correction we may see. A slower correction, slow, and a sideways, looks like a sideways market. Okay, so this is the example. So this kind of correction can happen. So we have seen bottom over there on Bitcoin at this area 3100, but price still went for a time frame correction, okay, or very much like a double bottom, we can say that, but then never looked back and was just keep pushing higher after that double bottom. Okay, so keep in mind that the price still can go for a deeper pullback. Okay, so on a bigger time frame, if you don't understand those lower time frame, on a bigger time frame, simply a double bottom. Okay, if double bottom comes, then you are looking for a longer term buy opportunity. Okay, that's for longer term. So for short term, you are simply looking for these corrections to break out and continue to keep pushing more higher. That's it. If you are already in and looking for this to just continue, then you are looking it to continue. So for short-term buying opportunities, you can consider these corrections, okay? But if you are a longer-term, investor or looking for longer-term buy opportunities, then I would suggest you to, wait for a double bottom. Okay? If it comes, then you're looking for this to continue. Okay, so this simple expanding triangle formation, which is just appearing over there, to break out and go up to 25 first. Okay, so 25 and then 30. So hope that makes sense. But make sure you understand that there is still a possibility for another leg lower. All right, so don't forget that. So this price is still in that wedge shape. Yeah. So thank you. We'll see you back again in another analysis. Until then, bye.